I don't know what day it is, you guys, and nobody does these days, right? Third Tuesday every month, where we talk all things health and fitness. So whether you're a coach on the team or a challenger in anybody's groups, we are glad that you're here and we welcome you. And we think that especially now with everything that's going on, it's just a good time to connect and talk about health and fitness because it's the root of what we do, right? So we have some tips to share with you tonight, and feel free to ask questions. And also in your challenge groups or to your coach, you can always make suggestions on what you'd like to hear about on these calls so that we can help you with that. And of course, you can, this is an open forum to ask questions tonight too. So
yeah, and if there's anything you want to know as we're going through, you can type your question in the comments and we can answer at any point.
Are you girls feeling like you're kind of getting over the hump of, the first few weeks of quarantine where, I don't know about you, but I was like eating in the house, felt like I was prepping and then eating whatever. I feel like I'm finally in a groove. And my hope is that you guys are now as well. But if you're not, we're here with that tonight so that we can conquer it, because I know for me it wasn't a good feeling to feel out of control in something that I've worked so hard to get control over. But that's life. Life throws you a curveball, and that's what happens with, if you're like me and you struggle with nutrition, that's what slips. So, or maybe you're the type that the fitness part is harder and something throws a curveball in your life, and that's just the easiest thing to say, I don't have time for that, or I can't get that in. So those are the type of things that we hope to overcome in our groups, and also to have this meeting once a month to talk about it, share what's hard and what's working and all of the things. So
totally.
Don't be shy.
So I think that I would like to, this is going to be a little bit off. It's gonna be a little strange, but I want you, because I think it's hard because we don't really know what post quarantine life looks like, right? We don't know when we get out. We don't know if we ever get out, if we ever go back to school. Like there's so many things that are so uncertain. And I think it's cool, or not cool, but I think thinking about the kind of person you want to be when this is over. So like, do you want to be a better wife? Do you want to be a better mom? Do you want to be a better coach? Do you want to be great at your eating? Do you want to lose weight? Do you want to, what are those things? I want to take a minute and I want you guys to write down what are the things that you want to be when this is over. Don't worry about how you're going to get there. Just take a minute and write down some of the things that you want to grow in. You want to be better in, you want to, whatever. Take a second and write that down while I search for something. This is when the music's playing. Hear it? Yeah, me neither. In your head? Okay, here it is. Okay, as you are writing that down, I'm going to pull up. So if you've been following along with, and you can take some minutes just to keep doing the things. If you've been following along with the 90-day, how many of you have been following along with the Hollises? Anybody? Any? Okay, well, that's one. That's good. That's good.
Two.
Just one's better than none, Anyway,
two,
I want to, oh, you saw two? Who else?
Yeah. Cassie and Anna. That's who I saw.
Okay, good. I want to share my screen, and we're going to listen to Dave for a second, because I felt like this hit home so much today in just how you want to come out of this. So we're talking about habits.
We can't hear it.
Can't hear it.
Oh. You can't hear it? Oh, kidding. Can you hear it? You'll hear it now. Give me a second. Hold on.
Ask you a question. What are your personal values? What are your personal values? What are the things that are important to you? If you were to make a list of the 5 things that you value most in your life, that you value most in your relationship, that you value most when it comes to your health, I'm not just talking physical health, but when it comes to your, yes, physical health, but also your mental health, how you think, your emotional health, how you feel, your spiritual health, what you believe, your sexual health, how you connect intimately, what all of the healths, right? When you think of how you want to feel when it comes to your healths, what do you value? What do you value? What are your personal values? And why this is important, I'm going to take you back to one of the more important times in 2020 for me. It was at the very, very beginning of the year. At the very beginning of the year, I went and spent a few days thinking about what my personal values were, thinking about the kind of year that I wanted to have in this year, 2020. And I started in a somewhat strange way. I decided to go looking backward at the times in my life where I experienced pain. And I wanted to, in trying to identify over the last 5 years of time where I experienced pain, see if there were any similarities in the things that were happening, the variables that were present. Were there any things that happened consistently during the times when I experienced pain? And one of the things, it turns out, that was a very consistent variable in the times when I experienced pain over the last 5 years of time was when the person I suggested I wanted to be, right? The values that I hold and how they might have me showing up consistently on an everyday basis for myself or for the people that I love. The person that I said I wanted to be was incongruent. There was dissonance between the person I said I wanted to be and the way I knew myself to be showing up at the end of a day, right? The way I felt about myself when I was by myself was affected by this space, this distance between who I said I wanted to be, what my personal values were, and how I knew myself to actually show up, right? That space, that dissonance, the incongruence that existed between my personal values and my actions was shame, was regret, was underfulfilled potential, was me not being the person I say I want to be. And the reason why I want to start with what your personal values are is the answer to what habits should I consider for me showing up in the way I'd want, start with you actually understanding what your values are, what person you'd hope to show up as consistently. For me, coming out of this exercise, such a great clarity moment in my life, I had to boil it down to a pretty simple math equation. I boiled it down to what I call an if-then statement. If I want to be an exceptional husband, then I have to intentionally pursue my wife. Then my calendar needs to reflect my intention for an exceptional relationship with a date night. Then I have to prioritize intimacy. Then I have to put down technology and have conversation. Then I have to create a trust by sharing the way that I'm feeling. Then I have to listen before I actually respond when she's telling me something. Then, right? If I want to be a father who's close to his children, then I need to connect with them one-on-one. Then I need to find a way to put technology down and have conversation with them about how their day is going. Then I need to model for them the way that I'd hope for them to show up in their life by showing up for mine. Then, right? If I want to have the kind of relationship with God that I would aspire to have on an everyday basis, then I need to be consistent in how I spend time in communion with God, in a devotional, or in something that might have me connecting with God. If I want to feel a certain way physically, then, right? And so the if-then statement, you can do it for literally anything in your life, but the if-then statements of my life were my attempts to close the gap between who I've suggested I'd like to be, the statement of my personal values, and how I'd have to act consistently to create congruence between the vision of who I'd like to be and the kind of behaviors I'd have to lean into.
Okay, so I just felt like that is so powerful for us in our lives right now, because here we have this opportunity, and it's hard for us, I think, to see this as an opportunity because it's scary, and there's job loss, and there's there's no insurance, and what could or could not happen. However, the more we lean away from the person who we're congruent to become, the more we're going to struggle through this. And so I think that as a community, as a coach, as a whoever you are, we have this rare opportunity to become congruent with the person that we're trying to become. And I think that he didn't press on too much, but whatever you made a list of, go further and make that if then statement about them. And if you want to have an incredible marriage, and I will speak very openly, I feel like that's probably the hardest thing in my life right now, because it's different. We're home together 24 hours a day, and we're not used to this space, and we're not used to having to all of it, it's totally out of whack, and it kind of feels like a weekend every day, but then it doesn't. And so it's just a very different time. So if I want an incredible marriage at the end of this, then I'm going to have to figure out some things to do to ensure that happens instead of the alternative. Right. And I couldn't agree more. I feel like when he hit it nail on the head when he said his hardest times in life was when he wasn't congruent with who he was supposed to be. That is tenfold. That is me. And like, how many times do you feel like you're, even in the last couple of weeks, like you were saying, Andy, that you're eating the house, how bad did everything else feel? Even though it wasn't, it feels all out of whack because we're trying to, we know better, and yet we're doing the opposite. And so what are some of the things maybe you can be bold enough to share that you need to clean up to become, what is your if then? Like, what do you need to fix? Maybe it's your diet. Maybe it's how much water you're drinking. Maybe you're drinking too much coffee. Maybe you're not sleeping enough. Maybe there's a relationship in your life that needs to go or needs to stay, or, whatever. Anybody willing to share or have any thoughts or?
I'll say, so you were saying your biggest struggle right now is, it's hard at home with the marriage. Well, my husband, he's essential, so he's gone during the day. I don't have to worry about that. I've been struggling with the relationship with my son because he's home every day, and who wants to admit that the struggle with their kid is the hardest, but it is. That's, and that's definitely my biggest stress right now. And I'm sure that that's across the board for every parent really out there right now but like I said, who wants to admit that? Who wants to actually say? But that's a hard one right there, because you pray every day, like, oh, I want to spend every day with my kids and I'll have all this time. And then it's handed to you. Whoa.
It's really true. I mean, that was my biggest struggle today. I mean, a lot of these days, but I even reached out. We waited a while to see my parents in this whole thing. We followed all the rules, but they're like the one family that we're seeing now. And I texted my dad because my 9-year-old was crying and he just had a bad day, and it didn't seem, I'm going to try not to cry, but no matter what I tried to do to help, nothing was helping. And I mean, my two toddlers drive me nuts, and I know that they're driving him nuts. That's just kind of the truth of it. He's used to school all day and then sports almost every night. And so I just texted my dad. I'm like, can you just come pick him up and just take him, do something fun? I don't know what you're going to do. And my dad came over and took him, and now he's spending the night over there. And I'm like, I feel bad as a mom because he's only 9, and I've had my own bad days in all of this. And it really made me think about, where can I be better? Because everything that Dave Wallace just said, I feel like I'm not living up to who I want to be, even in this time. And I can continue to sit here and say, well, this is hard. And, once life gets back to normal, it'll be easier to be that mom that I want to be. But the truth is, it's only up to me to do the things that I want to do now, to be that mom that I want to be right now. not just the mom that I know that I can be a little bit better at being when we're in normal life, because that's not fair. That's me being totally open and honest. But that was my day today. It was hard. It's hard to see my 9-year-old boy cry just because he's just overwhelmed. He's like, it's loud in here and they don't stop. And, they all want me to play with them. Da, da, da. And I'm like, I hear you, buddy. I hear you. Get it.
I think that it takes you into that place of like, I don't even know who I was. Oh, Brandon Burchard. Who else do I listen to? I'm like, who's the only other person in my ear these days? Brandon Burchard. And Granny doesn't have any kids, but he, he'll continue to be the coach of habits. And he was saying, like, are you going to come out of this as like, are you being a role model for your family? Are you going to regret the time that you had with your family because you were just waiting for it to end? Or are you going to use your time as wisely as you can? I mean, how many of us have said, like, just like you said, Julie, like, I just wish we were all home and we were together all the time and it would be so great. And it's like, here you go, here you are. So, how can we rise to the occasion? And I truly believe that we're 29 steps ahead because we are taking care of our health. Without fail, the healthiest people I know in their relationships with their children and with their spouse and with their job and with God and with they're healthy from the inside out, and not because they're striving for some number on the scale, and not because they're waiting for a pair of pants to fit, but because they're physically healthy. They're eating the right things. They're fueling their body with water. They're getting enough sleep. I was talking to a girl today and she's like, why do you say that personal development is a part of your health routine? She's like, I don't feel like reading a book is good for me. And I'm like, I didn't say, are you joking? But I was like, I hear you. I thought the same thing. Cause I remember being like, when I first signed up as a coach, they told you like, read books and grow as a person. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. Like, I'm good. And all of a sudden you feel stagnant as a person. And if there's nothing pushing you to grow, then you're just staying the same. And so I was like, no, they're hand in hand. You're literally exercising your mind, and there is nothing more powerful. What you want to watch your health and fitness change? Go read this book and you'll see how they go completely together. So yeah, I think that, here we are 10 steps ahead, in my opinion. It just means we need to lean into the heart, right? We need to maybe get up earlier to get that workout in so we can be more present, so we aren't feeling rushed because we haven't taken care of ourselves first, or, whatever it might be. Everybody has their own situation going on that they have to kind of power through.
I'm going to share something because I haven't really shared. I don't post a lot about it, or I just can't right now. So it kind of makes it hard not posting because I want to share about it. But I've been separated from my husband for a year already. Well, a year. But then back and forth longer than that. So I haven't shared that. So now you guys know. So I need to move forward. So I'm kind of in a very paused part of my life. Still trying to figure it out of how to, like, I want to reach out to other people, but it's kind of hard just because we still go to the same church. And then I've agreed not to share that out on social media. But it's kind of hard. So that's one thing. And another thing is, and everybody knows I've been struggling, this is waking up early. I'm a little bit better though, but that's just definitely, I feel getting up early. I feel more organized. I definitely know how it feels to have kids. And I also want to share, like, I have older kids, and I know some of you guys have like younger kids. Like, always feel free to reach out to like a community, or, I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I've gone through, I have 2 boys and 1 girl. So definitely finding my own routine. And then also just want to express who I am, but also be respectful to my family in my current situation. I don't know if anybody else has something similar where you can't share, and yeah, it just makes it hard.
You're so strong. And I know that you are there, you would be there for literally anybody. And I wish you could sing it from the rooftops, because I feel like more women need to hear just the way you've handled the whole situation for the last year. But I get it. I get it. And you not sharing is so respectful of him, and because I know this isn't what you wanted ultimately. And so you know, you're doing right, and God will honor that. And I can just only hope that, yes, this is like restoration for you, whether it's complete cutoff or, you know, the opposite.
Thank you.
Love you.
And also, as much as you want to be able to, you know, share your story as far as, you know, what we do, let this be your time to just share it with us, because if that's all you're comfortable, whatever to do, you know, respectfully, then that can be for all of us. It doesn't have to be for everyone else. That time will come. But for now, let it just be. And while figuring it out, you know, while everything's so fresh, it's with us, and you're not alone in that.
Thank
We
you.
keep praying for you, you know, loving on you extra.
Totally. Imagine if you wouldn't have this community this past year.
Because it's such a big part. I mean, Kim knows. Like, it's been going on for a long time, and it's just like, gosh, I wish I could share it, because it's such a big part of what helped me get through so much, you know, through last year, the past surgeries I had, and just very huge scares of my health, that I could share. So I was trying to like lean on that to share. But gosh, it's just goes so much deeper of going through the hardship of marriage and kids, and you know how it looks like. But I guess it's all God's timing, and one day I'll get to share that. It's just going to be even better. But yeah.
And probably even more powerful, Letty, because, you know, being able to cope and not being able to reach out to so many people is just another testament of, like, you know, how strong your community was behind the scenes, and how strong your health was, you know, and the things that you could pour into that were healthy ways to cope with what you're going through. It's even more of a powerful story, just knowing that you're coping with that and doing that in such a healthy way. I mean, there's so many people, I know when I got divorced, I went the opposite way. I was very unhealthy. I was living a very unhealthy lifestyle. I was not doing the things. I was living like a child. And so to think about what I would have been like had I had a community like this to go through that with, or even to have, you know, encouragement just to live a healthier lifestyle and do it in a healthy way, you know, it's just an even more powerful story for you on the flip side, you know.
I agree with that, Cassie, because I know Kim and Andy probably both, when I was going through it, man, I've been dealing with it for about 3 years now and it's every day. I mean, my ex is having issues, but I would turn them down, and I was like, nope, you know, not ready. And I wish, like, I can think back so many times and be like, I wish I would have said yes, because I think it would have pulled me out of that depression, that anxiety, the I'm not good enough stage so much faster. So this group, you know, I've only been a part of it for a couple months now, close to a year actually, and it's done wonders to pull me out of that spot and help me heal faster and not drag it on any longer.
I'm proud of you. And you know what? It's always in personal timing. I always say that. What we do is so personal, and you can't beat yourself up over not saying yes sooner, you know, because you said yes, and that's what matters. And you're here now, and you're doing the things for you now, and that's all that matters. We all could sit here and say we wish we would have found this sooner or said yes sooner, because I'm pretty sure we all said no for a while.
We did. At least a couple of us.
At least a few of us, yeah.
But I feel like you wouldn't have been ready anyway. It's kind of like that, like, you know, when you finally are ready, you're ready.
Yeah.
you know? And I feel like you've even had a moment where you like kind of wanted to quit, not quit, but like you were frustrated and were just tired and like you could have burnt out, and instead you like leaned into the discomfort and you rose up and just did the things you know work. And now look at you, conquering out doubles like boss, taking your son on the journey, and like every day you're just healthier and healthier, you know? So you're welcome. Anybody else? What are some of the things that you need to lean into so that you can come out as the person that you want to become? What's an if then that's not happening in your world? Does that make sense? Yeah.
I still struggle nutrition wise. So that's my, if I want better results, then I have to lock in the nutrition.
Yeah. Nutrition's hard. I feel like it's just one of those things. And, you know, it's hard because I feel like we are the reason, I mean, for me personally, the reason I love Beachbody is because there is freedom, right? They tell, like, here's a yellow container. If you want to fill it with wine or you want to fill it with chocolate, you can, you know? And so I think it's really easy for me to be like, well, that cookie, even though it's not a yellow, I can call it a yellow. But it's like, I started to think about, and it, you know, maybe a book that if you've never read and you do struggle with nutrition, Made to Crave is a phenomenal book, and it literally will change your life if you've never read it and you struggle in that arena. But it just talks about how like every time you pick something up, like, you know, and it's easier when you're a mom to use this correlation, but like, would you let your kid eat that? And maybe that's not such a great example for people who have really picky kids, because I'd be like, well, yeah, actually probably would offer my kid ice cream for dinner if they hadn't eaten anything all day, because there's fat in it and calories, and they're probably starving to death. But terrible analogy. But you get what I'm saying? Like, you really need to start thinking of your body as this temple that you want to fuel well. And if, you know, if like, how is this going to serve me? If I eat this piece of cake right now, like, what's it going to do? All it's going to do is give me like that little jolt of like satisfaction. And then it like goes away and it becomes guilt. It has to become something that you constantly are just like, is it worth it? Is it worth the 2-hour workout that I put in this morning, or the 1-hour workout that I put in this morning to eat? And that's not to say the like celebratory things and the times that you have decided, okay, tonight I am going to have 2 margaritas, or I'm going to sit down with my girlfriends on Zoom and have a glass of wine, or whatever. Like, those are those things that I don't want you to say cut them, but knowing that can't happen every day. You're never going to see results if it happens every single day, you know? So I think you have to really, your why has to be something that you are like driving into your head every single day. Every single day.
I've had the constant thought through all of this of delayed gratification because it's true, especially when it comes to nutrition. You know, you're not going to see the reflection, good or bad, right away, which is sometimes why we make the choices we make, because we convince ourselves, you know, one cookie or the extra glass of wine or whatever it is, or just picking a bad meal, which tends to be more what I do. Let's get Mexican food. Sure. In the moment, it's like, oh, great. And I know it's not going to reflect the next day or even that week necessarily. So then you convince yourself that it's okay. And it is okay occasionally. But the delayed gratification in the opposite, choosing the more healthy, satisfying option, to me, that's where that gratification that is delayed comes in far better than the delayed regret, which tends to happen even sometimes when we are celebrating something, or in the case of this whole pandemic, you know, using food as a comfort. I feel like I'm not really a stress eater. I tend to not eat enough when I'm stressed, but I'm definitely I justify things in times like this. You know, it's like, why not? What else am I going to do? Or eating because you're bored. I don't know how many of you have been doing that. Can't say that I'm bored with 4 kids, but I'm home. Like, we're all home. It's like, what else do you do?
Wait a minute. You're bored?
Back to the fridge, not bored, but it's like I'm in the kitchen all day long preparing food. And it's like, oh, let's just go in the cupboard and, eat things I don't normally eat. So I think that if you haven't yet, especially in this time, because we still don't know how much longer we're going to be living like this, if you haven't faced it, face it now. Don't put it off any longer. Of what are the bad habits that you might be pulling in, even without really acknowledging them? Because you'll feel so much better if you just face them, acknowledge it, and then kick them to the curb. Starting tonight, starting tomorrow morning, you'll feel so much better.
I think for me too that, oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. It's okay.
No, I was going to say when we started the 90-day challenge, which I guess, was it April 1st?
I think so.
Was that when it started? It was, right? They ask you to give something up for 90 days, and I gave up sugar because I was putting back bags of jelly beans like a child, seriously a child. Someone actually told me and gave me like an actual Google that told me that the specific jelly bean that I like was made of bird feathers. Like the shell was made with bird feathers. And then they were like, you can watch this video and you will learn that it's made with bird feathers. I just refused to watch the video and was like, it's fine. They can't be making things with bird feathers, and continue to eat them. So that doesn't even work. Like I'm like a holic, like a sugar holic. So kicking that was the best thing I have ever done. And then having this like 90 days, I just feel like it just goes hand in hand. So.
I just want to throw in, I think it was last year, Kim was sharing how important it is to like document your food. And that's kind of how I came about of learning I was allergic to peanuts. So I just wanted to share that, like how important that is, because you start realizing your stomach, because when you think of allergies, you think of sneezing and all these things, but it was actually something that I was doing in my gut. And I realized that, and the only way I was able to realize that was last year when I started tracking things down, and I noticed in my pictures that I was eating, like I would get like that when I had peanuts. So I just wanted to encourage you guys, because I know like talking about sugar and giving up things is actually getting really to know what you're eating, and that's really helped me with that.
Not to like, okay, so before we move on to, there's one more thing I want to share. But so take some time to really share, put down your if-then statements, write them, and then take them with you every single day. Act like, put a time on it and know that it might change. But like say, okay, in 50 days, I want to be this. And let's just pretend you're still in isolation for 50 days. I really hope we're not, and we are moving on in the world. But, California's kind of making some moves, but still, write those down and then share them in Tribe. Be bold in there. You guys, that group is full of women who at once upon a time decided that they were worth it. And they could be so far from it. And I always say this, that when you check in there, just tag someone, just pick like a letter and be like B, and then just tag somebody you don't even know. I cannot even tell you how many people have reached out and said, yeah, randomly this girl tagged me in Tribe, and it made me realize that I have this whole group of people. And then I started watching the group, and then they end up re-upping or not re-upping, but just deciding I'm going to go and I'm going to work out. I forgot that I have Beachbody on Demand. So, you have no idea just how powerful just tagging somebody can be in that group. So be brave and do that. And I wanted to kind of share with you guys, because I don't know if you've seen this, but we have this new thing called BOD groups. So my challenge group tracker is going away, and this is going to be the new challenge.
It's time to put it all together with BOD groups, a platform that combines world-class fitness programs, simple meal planning, supplements that deliver, and support from a group of people who all want the same thing: results. It's Beachbody's total solution to help you get healthy and fit. With Bod Groups, you're sharing the experience of following a program and achieving a goal. And with over 85 different programs, there are groups for every preference and fitness level. And your group has access to the program you decide to do, all inside the Bod Group platform. From the world-famous 21-Day Fix and Insanity to breakthroughs like Morning Meltdown 100 in 10 rounds. You just go into the group, click on the workout, and it's all right there. The group feed keeps you in touch with your coach and other members of your group. Sometimes it's an intimate group with a few people. Sometimes it's a group with a few hundred people. All will inspire you and help keep you motivated. And Bod Group's powerful tracking tools log your fitness and nutrition activity to help monitor your progress and stay on track. And if you need to pick up a little extra energy or nutrition, it's just a click away. With all of Beachbody's proven products and programs that are available, it's like bringing the Netflix of fitness together with Facebook groups and a healthy version of Amazon all into one place. Plus, the friends you choose to get results with. It's Bod Groups. Get better results together.
Woohoo!
It's time to put it all together with Bod Groups.
We got you. I hear you, Bod Groups.
And this will be all available Monday. So if you are in a challenge tracker group, you will automatically be switched over, which is pretty rad.
It's just going to put it all together, right? Like there'll be no like, oh, I got to go over here and I got to go over here and I need an app for all this. You're just going to have one app and the app's going to be all encompassing. So you'll have your nutrition tracker and your BOD and you can go buy something and you can check in with your coach. It's just going to be really rad. I'm excited and I think it's.
Are we going to have to download a new, I missed that whole part on Saturday. Is it going to just switch the My Challenge tracker or are we going to have to like re-download or download a new one?
I don't know that question. Answer.
I think
You just have to update your BOD app, and it's going to just be a new button on the bottom menu. It'll say Bod Groups. I think right in the middle is what it looks like it's going to be. But you don't need to download anything new. It's going to be part of the Beachbody On Demand app. And as well as when you go to beachbodyondemand.com, I think there'll be an option there as well.
Awesome.
yes, true. Because when you log into Beachbody On Demand from your computer, obviously it's not an app, it's a website. So, but you'll be able to access it from there as well, kind of like the coach portal. I'm envisioning that side of it, right? Well, we are so glad that you guys hopped on tonight and hopefully this was helpful. And like Kim said, lean in, one thing that I've learned as a coach is to really be vulnerable, or one thing it's helped me to do is to be vulnerable in a space where I feel comfortable, and it's helped me overcome so much, just being able to do that with you girls. So if you haven't yet and you need that safe space, that's what we're here for. So just know that, we are here, and we hope you guys all have the best rest of your week.
I was going to say, sorry, was there any questions about the new group that's kicking off? We were going to kind of mention the 100-day group.
Oh, yeah.
I was gonna, if you could just recap like all the starting dates, I was gonna make sure it's
Yeah, just because I know that, especially because I'll put this link into Tribe. So the 100-day group is basically a group where you bring that program that you've always wanted to finish, that you've never finished, you bring it to the table and you commit and you just do it. There's no wishing washing, there's no quitting, you just do it. You see it to the end. So whatever that might be for you, maybe you've got Max 30 and you've been staring at it for, for 5 years, or maybe you bought T25 online, or maybe you bought PiYo online, or whatever it might be. Obviously we'll re-up and everyone will be, drinking Shakeology or drinking Performance Line, or, using nutrition, or whatever the case. But you're going to commit to that program. And so let's say you commit to, or the 2 fixes. Maybe you've never done, 21-day fix, real time, and extreme, and you've got 42 days. And then maybe you add on Live 4 for another 60, or whatever the case might be. And this is going to bring us right into MFB, which is the new program coming out in late July. So this is going to carry us. We're not going to think about anything else. We're just going to power through. We're going to work on our if-then statements and be more concerned about being a good wife and a good mom. And the fitness side and the nutrition side is just going to become this natural cause and effect. It's sort of like how we kind of thought of it. It's like, let's just commit and finish something without all the bells and whistles, without needing anything to like rally us except for each other. And really, the hope would be that at the end of it, we are, back into civilized world and we're, stronger because of it. So May 4th is when we kick off. We will continue to add people as people, let's say, you don't start on May 4th and you start, 10 days later. So then your 90-day program or whatever. And it carries us right until August 2nd, which is crazy to me that 100 days from May brings us to August, isn't it? Crazy.
We also wanted to do it this way because we have seen in the virtual gym and just with our team and with our challenge groups that everybody's wanting to be together. So rather than start, 4-week groups all through the summer in this unknown land that we're all living in, we're just trying to pull everybody together for at least 100 days with the thought that within 100 days, we better be back to normal. And like Kim said, it's one thing you don't have to think about. You're going to pick your program and you're going to do it. And you'll be in a community with all the people doing their program that they are locked and loaded into as well. So it's going to be
really rad. It's going to be really fun. We'll have fun themes throughout the months and just to keep everybody engaged, and we'll do all the stuff. So it's going to be great.
You guys want to smile real quick for a little boomy action?
Boom it up.
Would that be okay?
Someone just came and stole my phone, so I got nothing.
What do we want to do?
Melanie, Paula.
I need a little
see your faces.
Anna, what should we do? You're good at these things.
You know how we're supposed to wear a mask?
We'll just wave.
Wave.
Okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Nailed it.
Nailed it. Can't mess up a wave. You really can't.
Well, it's sometimes when you don't just try to do something in sync, it's just
no, it doesn't go so well. You think we'd all be professionals?
But you do TikTok. I don't know any of the TikToks.
I don't either. Good job. There you go. It's nailed it.
I did this one.
I'm not a TikTok person either, Andy, but I have a teenager that can teach everybody.
Okay. Well, Kim can teach us all. I've been asking for training for weeks now.
All right. Well, nice to see all your faces. I hope this was helpful and you go off into your worlds a little bit wiser, healthier, and not eating the things that you don't need to eat tomorrow.
Righto.
True.
Okay.
Good night, girls.
Good night, ladies.
Hi, thank you.
Welcome.